I am going to leave you. I am at peace.
Deep in the North African desert, July 1942, a convoy of 18 stripped-down jeeps snakes through moonlit canyons, their machine guns ready to tear apart Hitler's air fleet. Under the cover of darkness, British Major David Stirling guides his elite raiding force toward an Axis airfield hidden 230 miles behind enemy lines. But something's wrong. Stirling squints at his map, then at the empty horizon. The runway should be right here. Sweat mixes with desert dust on his forehead. Then, in an instant, the night explodes into daylight. Hundreds of floodlights snap on across the desert floor. Stirling's hand grips his weapon. Have the Germans trapped them? No. The roar of aircraft engines answers first. A German transport is descending directly onto their target. The airfield isn't waiting for them. It's actively landing planes right now. To Stirling's left crouched two SAS legends, Captain Paddy Mayne, a wild-eyed rugby star turned warrior, and Lieutenant Carol Mather. Would you look at that beauty? Mayne whispers. To the right, French SAS Commander André Zernheld waits for the signal. Each jeep mounts twin Vickers K-machine guns, front and rear, capable of spitting death at 1,000 rounds per minute. 18 vehicles, 36 guns. One promise of hell. Why would a handful of raiders gamble everything against an entire Luftwaffe base? Gentlemen, Stirling announces, time to earn our pay. The attack begins not with a whisper, but with a war cry. Who dares wins. The jeeps lurch forward, engines screaming across the sand. At 800 meters from the runway, the scattered convoy locks into a perfect battle formation. Stirling centered, French flankers on both sides. A former commando named Stephen Hastings would later describe the next moment as first one tentative burst, then the full chaos of 68 machine guns firing without mercy. The vibration shakes the jeeps to their frames. Tracer rounds paint red and white streaks through the night. Incendiary bullets turn parked aircraft into funeral pyres. What does 34,000 rounds per minute look like to the men on the receiving end? From the German perspective, it's simply a wall. A moving, roaring wall of fire and lead. The incoming Ju-52 transport sees the traces but can't abort. They're committed to landing. As soon as wheels hit tarmac, German crews kill every light on the base. Darkness returns. Silence falls. But Stirling isn't finished. He raises a flare gun. Green light arcs across the sky like a fallen star. Forward. The jeeps surge onto the runway in tight columns. Two lines, just 15 feet apart. Stirling becomes the tip of a deadly arrow, leading his men past row after row of German warplanes. Stuka dive bombers explode first, then Bf-109 fighters, then Ju-88s, Bf-110s, and more Ju-52s. The pride of the Luftwaffe turning to twisted metal and black smoke. German soldiers scatter in shock. Some hide underneath the very planes about to explode. Was that really their best option? The crew from the landed Ju-52 kills their cockpit lights and engines, praying to blend in with the wreckage. The jeeps crawl past at just 2.5 miles per hour, slower than a morning jog. But at this range, speed doesn't matter. Every round finds its target. The convoy reaches the runway's end and turns onto the taxiway. More aircraft, more destruction. Stirling signals a brief halt to check his formation. All jeeps accounted for. He nods. Continue the rampage. But those precious seconds give the Germans their first chance to fight back. A handful of defenders scramble to a 20mm Breder anti-aircraft gun. Someone grabs portable mortars. A German NCO yells, "If we don't stop them, everything is lost." The first mortar round whistles overhead and detonates directly between Stirling's jeep and Zernheld's vehicle. Shrapnel tears through empty air, inches from killing the French commander. Then the Breder opens up. Rounds whip past the commandos' heads. Every man crouches as low as possible. Gunner John Robson slumps forward over his machine gun, blood spreading across his uniform. How do you keep fighting when your friend just fell beside you? Take out that gun. Stirling screams to his gunner, Sergeant Johnny Cooper. Cooper pivots the twin Vickers toward the Breda position just as a shell passes through Sterling's Jeep, missing his knees by less than an inch. The engine dies. Sterling's vehicle rolls to a stop. What's wrong with it? We don't have an engine anymore. Another Jeep pulls alongside, Robson's vehicle. Sterling looks over and sees the young trooper's body. What remained of his head rests against the gun mount. Go. Sterling jumps aboard. The column rejoins the fight. Mortar rounds keep falling. Shrapnel fills the air. But the SAS doesn't stop. Their return fire shreds the Breda position. Gunners fall. Survivors flee into the darkness. At the taxiway's end, Sterling honks his horn. Stop. Engines off. Silence. The only light comes from the burning skeletons of German squadrons. Everyone all right? OUI. Yay. Sterling takes a breath. Robson is their only fatality. Ammunition status. Half drum. 1 drum. 2 drums. Plenty left. Why leave when there's more to destroy? One more pass over the dispersal area. Then we leave. And watch for those Breda guns. The engines restart. The Jeeps roll past wreckage, shredded planes bleeding flame. Among the debris sits an intact Bf-109. It doesn't stay intact long. Sterling raises his flare gun one final time. Red light signals retreat. But Paddy Mayne hasn't received the message. Or more likely, he's ignoring it. Among the burning wrecks, Mayne spots an untouched Ju-52 transport. Without a word to anyone, he vaults from his Jeep, grabs a demolition charge, jogs to the aircraft, plants the bomb on its wing, and sprints back. Let's Geo. The Ju-52 erupts as the Jeeps race into the night. What kind of man jumps out alone to blow up an enemy plane in the middle of a firefight? The Germans will send search aircraft at dawn. But Sterling has planned for this. The convoy splits into 4 groups. Lieutenant Carol Mather's unit drives through darkness, then hides their Jeeps in thick scrub as sunrise paints the desert gold. They decide to cook breakfast. Over the sizzle of sausages and boiling water, someone freezes. Aircraft. A German dive bomber circles above. Sweat drips down every man's face. The plane passes. No alarm. No attack. They exhale. Then another appears. And another. Mather whispers. It's like a swarm of angry bees. Louder. Take cover. 12 men disappear under thorn bushes. Meanwhile, the French group has no such luck. They're exposed on open ground, huddled under a shallow ridge that offers almost no protection. Can a few feet of dirt save them from Germany's deadliest dive bombers? Zernheld scans the horizon. 4 Stukas turn directly toward their position. Don't move. The planes keep coming. They've been spotted. Take cover. Bullets and cannon shells tear into sand and flesh. Men dive behind anything solid. The world becomes chaos, lead, and screaming engines. At Sterling's position, they are burying John Robson. A military funeral under desert skies. A makeshift cross from tin cans marking his grave. No planes interrupt the service. For a moment, peace. Then an engine growls. Everyone freezes. Looking up, they lock eyes with another Stuka. The plane passes. It didn't see them. Back at the French camp, the attack seems over. Everyone survived. Then the Stukas turn around for another pass. And another. They keep attacking until their ammunition runs dry. When the planes finally leave, desert wind fills the silence. And someone is breathing, slowly, painfully. Second in command Francois Martin stumbles to his feet. 2 of 3 Jeeps are destroyed. A man lies on the ground. It's Zernheld. Shrapnel in his stomach. In his shoulder. They lift him into the remaining Jeep and drive. Night falls. Mather's group pushes through the desert. Thirsty, sunburnt, desperate, but alive. They reach the rendezvous point and find Paddy Mayne's unit already waiting. Sterling's men aren't so lucky. 1 Jeep blows a tire. They abandon it, crowding into remaining vehicles. Progress slows to a crawl. Then they lose their landmarks. No recognizable terrain. No bearings. Food and water running dangerously low. Can the man who led the raid survive the desert itself? Sterling stays at an endless sea of sand. His navigator insists they are heading the right direction. They have no choice but to trust him. They drive through the scorching day. Nothing looks familiar. Then they hit a steep escarpment, a dead end. The navigator climbs out to find a path down. He reaches the cliff's edge and freezes. At the bottom, British jeeps. The rendezvous point. He runs back, arms waving. We made it. Sterling's group arrives on July 29th, 2 days after the raid. But there's no celebration. In the French jeep, Francois Martin watches Zernheld die by inches. Skin turns gray. Breathing slows. Heart races faster and faster. A man can face machine guns and mortars, but watching a friend fade away is the real war. As they approach the rendezvous, Zernheld pulls Martin close. I am going to leave you. I am at peace. He breathes his last. David Sterling would receive the Distinguished Service Order and the Order of the British Empire. Months later, L Detachment would officially become the Special A Service, the SAS. From desert sand and burning plains, legends are not born. They are forged in blood and silence. Martin later found a poem among Zernheld's belongings, verses written in the sand under enemy fire. Today, it's known as the Paratrooper's Prayer, the official poem of French airborne forces. What would you write?
If stories of impossible courage move you, then you belong. Pour one at War Real History. Hit like. What one object would you take behind enemy lines? Share in the comments below.